So we've seen in section 1 and 2, we worked with Landsat 8 collections. We worked with the raw collection. We also worked with surface reflectance collection. Now in section 3, we'll start working with pre-made composites. So people have actually taken individual images from image collections and assembled them into a single layer, for example. This can be done for many different data sets, including satellite images, climatological information, forest or vegetation information, and more. For this particular section, we work with MODIS imagery. So first we work with MODIS daily true color imagery and MODIS monthly burn areas. And for this section, we have this checkpoint here, F1.2 D. So we'll go into the code again and select F1.2D checkpoint to have our complete script for this section. And while that loads, I'll be clearing the scripts that I have, my working script. And here it is. This is F1.2D checkpoint. And the way it is set up, this one also has what we've just done previously, because we want to compare a collection, image collection, surface reflectance with individual images with these pre-made composites. So the first, what we'll do, we'll copy from lines 1 through 62. So basically almost all the way to the end. So 1 through 62, but from 1 to 40 is what we've done previously with the surface reflectance image that we just saw of Landsat 8. And from line 42 onwards, we'll be working with the MODIS dataset. We'll first work with this MODIS dataset here. You can see in line 47, we're defining a variable called MODIS daily. And it's this image collection with this ID here. So I'll copy this ID, paste it on the search bar so you can see which data set I'm working with. It is the first one that pops up. And you can see it's called MODIS Nadir BRDF adjusted reflectance daily 500 meters. So this data set is produced daily based on a 16-day retrieval period, choosing the best representative pixel from the 16-day period. So it takes a 16-day, if you choose like a date here, it takes 8 days, in the front, 8 days at the back of the date, and then it kind of creates one composite with all of these 16 days. By compositing images, we have better representation of an area, for example. So this MODIS dataset takes 16 days and kind of composites that into just one layer, and it does that for the time series. We can see here, for example, MODIS bands are different. We'll be working with bands 1, 4, and 3. Here they have this long name, Nadir reflectance band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4. But we will keep working with the visible bands, so red, green, and blue, which is 1, 4, and 3. But you can see that, this is, they just took individual images and compressed images in this range of 16 days. So we have, these pre-made composites. So we're taking this collection and we are filtering. Here in the next line, we have another variable, we're defining another variable where we have a new collection. And I'm calling the recents because I'm filtering to a recent date, or relatively recent because it's 2021. We are already in 2022, but it is November 1st, 2021, I'm filtering. And you can see that I am not defining the second date here. That only means that, it's gonna take this first one and the second one is gonna be up to today. And then I'm adding this data set to the map. So it's gonna grab the image closest to this start date here. And you can see previously we were defining the visualization parameters here. If I go back to the previous code we had with the surface reflectance image, we are defining here the visualization parameters within the Map.addLayer function, but we can also, here I'm doing differently. I'm defining a variable, which will be my visualization parameter. So I have this variable modus vis, which is for visualization, and I'm defining the visualization parameters as a variable. And then I add this image to the map. I have Map.addLayer, and I use this visualization parameters here, modus vis. So it's another way of writing your code. You can have the visualization parameters within the Map.addLayer function, or you can just take this and make it a variable and use that variable name here for the visualization parameters. And if I click run, here my map is still, because we still have those, the code from the previous section here. It's centered in San Francisco. And you can see that if I turn off this modus layer that I have just added to the map, this is the image we had, a surface reflectance image from Landsat. And if I turn this on, which is the modus daily composite, you can see it's a composite. It'll take a while to load for the entire globe, but you can see that it's a pretty clear composite, you can say. So most of the clouds have been removed or masked, but you can see, for example, here in Denver, we have a lot of mountains, we have a lot of clouds. So you can see you have data gaps here. So we have, even taking 16 images and compositing, we still have some data gaps, probably because of cloud cover. So within a 16-day period, there wasn't one single image in that period that had a clear sky. So they kind of masked those pixels, so they're not included in this composite. But for the other areas, you can see that we have data, and you can work with this pre-made composites. And we're not gonna go into this in this chapter. For the next chapter, you'll see, you'll see like spatial resolution, temporal resolution. But if you zoom in, you can kind of see the differences here between spatial resolution of modus and Landsat. But you see that in the other chapter. But just a sneak peek, so you get excited about that. You can see that the pixels are very different between the two sensors. But yeah, this is the modus true color daily 500 meter pre-made composite. So it's just an example. The other data set pre-made composite we'll look is the modus monthly burn areas data set. So we can copy here the rest of the script. So from line 65 to the end and paste here at the bottom. So we not only, modus has many different pre-made data sets. Not only this daily composite, but there's also one that they've processed to see burned areas. And you can see if you copy and paste this asset ID here from line 66, we're defining a new variable, modus monthly. You can just copy this ID and paste here at the top to see which data set you're working on. And you can see it is this one, modus burn area monthly global. So they've taken individual images, processed it, and created this collection where you have monthly composites of burn area globally in a 500 meter scale. So we're calling that one, and we'll be filtering by date again. So in line 69, we're filtering by date for this date in August. And we are adding this data set to the map. So because it's a monthly data set, we have one layer for the entire month of August here of 2021. And we are adding that to the map. And if we click run, we can see that it's loading the daily composite, but you start to see red areas also. If I zoom out here in California, you can see these red areas popping on your map. That's this latest imagery that we've added. So it's monthly composites. Right now we're visualizing burned areas of the month August of 2021. And these are overlapped with the daily composite. So we can turn that layer off if you want, both these two layers. And we can see areas that were burned in the month of August 2021. We can see some areas here in California. If we zoom out and pan to, for example, Australia, they also have a lot of fires happening. You can see some burnt areas here in Australia as well. And you can do that, for the entire globe. But that's another example of pre-made composite that it's ready to be used by Google Earth Engine users. And with that, we finished this section 3, where we explored 2 different pre-made composites.